Hey guys, what's up? Darcy here at 6 Strings 9 Lives. Welcome to episode 14 of 6 with 6 Strings. Before I get started today, I just want to send out my condolences. We lost a legend this week, Mr. Frankie Banali. Rest in peace, Frankie. Legendary drummer of Quiet Riot. Huge impact on me personally. As far as this album goes, this was huge for me. Pretty much helped me, put me on the journey that the heavy metal journey that I, jumped on and stayed on for the ride until, right up until this day. I just feel really fortunate to listen to such great music throughout the years. And I want to thank Frankie Banali for all the hours and hours of awesome music that I got to listen to over the years. You'll be sadly missed. Rest in peace. All right, on to this episode. Again, if you're new to the channel or you're just jumping in on one of these episodes, I just grabbed 6 random albums from my collection. And in this case, I have 5 bands or artists that I haven't shown on any of these episodes, and 1 that I have. And we'll start off with actually that one that I have shown. So in a previous episode, I think around episode 7 or 8, I showed this album by Lazarus Rocket, Know Your Enemy. And this is a grail for me on CD or vinyl. And I was watching a video on the Accusation Network, Matt, and he was going over some new releases and reissues. And sure enough, Lazarus Rocket is coming out with this album and the next one I want to show you. This one is called Annihilation Principle. So Know Your Enemy is their 3rd album. This is their 4th album. 2 thrash must-haves in my opinion. So they're both getting a reissue on Hammerheart Records. I've already put in my order. I couldn't wait. And I didn't know much about Hammerheart Records, to be honest with you. Also learned quite a bit more by watching Mark G with a C's channel, showing a bunch of his big haul from Hammerheart Records. So I ordered these 2 for sure on vinyl. Fantastic albums. Check them both out. They're really, just they flew a little bit under the radar, but really, really good thrash albums in my opinion. There's the back. These were released on Enigma back in the day. This one actually came out in 1989. Check out the songs: Fire in the Hole, Mob Justice, Chain of Fools, Chasing Charlie. There's a cool Dead Kennedys cover on here called Holiday in Cambodia. Really looking forward to getting those on vinyl. Definitely check out Lazarus Rocket. Next up, here's a band that I think, I don't know if you would say the fans are divided, because I think both the material from one era and the other era is both good. But I think what I've seen throughout the music community, fans are kind of divided. They either like the early era or the Pepper Keenan era. So now you know which band it is. So I'm going to show you their 6th album today. Most of you are either familiar with albums like Deliverance, Wise Blood, Blind, or there's, the fans of the earlier material, which is more on the, would you say, on the hardcore side. I'm a fan of when Pepper Keenan joined the band. He joined on the album called Blind, but he only sang on one song, and it was called Vote with a Bullet. That's when I was hooked right then and there. And the very next album, he took over vocal duties on a full-time basis on the album Deliverance. But today I'm going to show you their 6th album from 2000. This one's called America's Volume Dealer. Fantastic album. A little more polished than what you heard on Deliverance or Wise Blood, but no less good for sure. I'm no less bad, whatever you want to say. This is a great album. Go check out it, and if you ended it at Wise Blood, I suggest, plod on and try this one out. Try the songs Over Me. A couple of my favorites though, Congratulations song, awesome guitar riff, great song. Stare Too Long, great song. But my second favorite song, or whatever, tied for first, is called 13 Angels. Love that song. Got a kind of a psychedelic cover there. But anyways, COC, Corrosion of Conformity, 6th album. Definitely check out America's Volume Dealer. Next up in this episode is, it's actually a new release. Like I said before, some of these albums have been with me for years. Like that COC, I bought it brand new on release day. And I bought this brand new on release day, but it just happens to be from this year. This is Biff Byford's first solo album. I got to give this one more plug. It is such a great album. It will be, you probably most likely will see this in my top 10 or 15 come the end of the year. This is called School of Hard Knocks. You know, a guy in his late 60s, he has not lost anything on his vocal ability. He sounds fantastic. If you're a Saxon fan, you like your Maiden, your Priest, you know, you're going to like this. This is a great solo album. There's a couple of cover songs on here that are quite good. One cover of Scarborough Fair and a Wishbone Ash cover. Song is called Throw Down the Sword. Fantastic. Welcome to the Show. Check out that song. That was one of the first singles. And then there's some heavy stuff on here too. Just that could easily fit into a Saxon album. Pedal to the Metal, Hearts of Steel. Both those songs were co-written by Nibs Carter, who's also a member of Saxon. He's the bass player. But if you haven't picked this up yet and you are a Saxon fan, go grab it because it's fantastic. Next up, we're going to go with a little Canadian content. This band has 17 studio albums, still going, many lineup changes. The one constant to this band is Mr. Jeff Waters. This is their 7th overall studio album from 1999. One of my personal favorites. I don't quite have every Annihilator album. I think I'm missing about 4. I'm going to try to get those here in the next few months, and I've heard them, but I'd like to do a ranking, but I'd like to acquire all of them before I would attempt a ranking. But anyways, great album. This is the return of Randy Rampage on vocals, so he's from the Alice in Hell album. There's Jeff Waters, Ray Hartman, drums, fantastic drummer. Dave Scott Davies on guitar, I believe. And this is a childhood friend of mine, high school friend of mine, Mr. Russell Berquist on bass. He lived in the same city I grew up in, and we graduated the same year. Feels like about 50 years ago, but it hasn't been quite that long, but pretty cool to know Russell. Anyways, great album. Check out Back to the Palace, one of my favorite songs on here. Criteria for a Black Widow, great song. Nothing Left. Sonic Homicide, great album. So if you want some, almost earlier Annihilator, really good album. Like I said, a lot of lineup changes, but they do have some great material to check out. Next up, what do we got here? We got 2 more to go. Here's a band that a friend of mine here on the VC, Cloudy Milder, got me onto. Earlier work was with Kai Hansen of Halloween fame, Gamma Ray, but I'm talking about Iron Savior. So this is their latest album, and this would be their 11th studio album from 2019. Mr. Pete Silk is the, pretty much runs the whole show here. There's been lineup changes, things like that. But I believe this is their 11th studio album. If you count, they did one where they redid some of their earlier material. I think it was called Reforged something. But anyways, this album's from 2019. This is a really a good album. If you like your power metal, stuff like Primal Fear, UDO, Herman Frank, this would be right up your alley. Great stuff. This is, and you know what? AFM Records, besides the price on some of these, which is quite high on new releases even, AFM Records puts out really quality material. Here is the gatefold, pretty cool. So if I'm I only have 2 albums from Iron Savior, and it's on my list to get a few more. But I like I said, the price for some of these is, you know, some of these are up in the range of $30 Canadian, you know, $28 for a CD. So got to kind of look for some more bargains as far as Iron Savior goes. And I really need to check out, I think Kai Hansen was featured on at least the first 3 or 4 albums. I think 3, but I really need to check out some of that material too. But if you're newer to Iron, if you've never heard these guys, give them a shot. Go check out Kill or Get Killed, great song. Some of my favorite songs on here from Dust and Rubble. Heroes Ascending, awesome song. Track 9, Until We Meet Again. And there's a bonus track on here, an AC/DC cover of Sin City. Pretty cool. Check out some Iron Savior. And we'll wrap up this episode with a live album of a band that I only have 1 studio album from, and this album. The band is called Bullet from Sweden, but this is one of my favorite live albums from 2019. Very good. Dust to Gold was the studio album, or is the studio album that I have. Looking forward to a new album from these guys. I hope they come out with one soon. But if you want just a good live album, check this out. It's just so good. If you, the vocals, I said it before in a video, I would say this is Udo Dirksnyder meets Brian Johnson. Just really well done vocals. Kind of a new wave of traditional heavy metal with that kind of, even on Dust to Gold, there's that accept sound in there, a little bit of an accept sound, a little bit of AC/DC-ish, and same with the vocals. But so this whole album represents their whole discography, and I think they probably have about probably 5 to 6 studio albums. I don't quite know, but I really need to dig in and grab some more stuff from Bullet. So like I said, I only have Dust from Dust to Gold, I think it's called. Let me just grab it here. Dust to Gold. This one was from 2018. Awesome album. So if you can give me any more recommendations from the band Bullet as far as studio material, throw it down in the comments. Would really appreciate it. But so that is it for this episode of 6 with 6 Strings. Again, just 6 good old random albums you can check out. And if you, like I said, I love the recommendations. I have a long list of things that people let me know about in the comments, and I really do appreciate it. Anyways, rest in peace, Frankie Banali, and until next time, stay heavy.